Hello friends, welcome to my Cosy Haven. My name is Fiona. I'm really glad to be back making a video for you. Hello! I know it's been a while. It's been at least two and a bit weeks. I'm feeling better, which is good. Energy levels are sort of slowly coming up, which is always the good news. So that's it. It was good to take the break. I made the right decision, but I'm glad to be back. So how have you all been? Come tell me how you're doing. I'd love to know. Hope you've all been having a good reading couple of weeks. Come tell me all about it. But shall we get on with the books that I've been reading while I've been away? So the first one that I finished was one I was reading the last time I spoke to you, and that's Head Girl's Difficulty by Eleanor M. Brent Dyer. This is book number 2 in the La Rochelle series. So this book follows some of the characters from the previous book, which was Jerry Goes to School. So this is Rosamond Atherton, and it is her year as a head girl. And part of it is that the head is not well. The head has to take a leave of absence. So a lot of things fall on Rosamond as head girl to deal with. And it's how she copes with that, how the various other pupils within the school cope with it. There's also a diphtheria outbreak, how that affects not only the school but the family, and what implications that has for the Atherton family. I enjoyed it. I have to say, not as much as Jerry Goes to School. But I'm reading my way through this series again because it's been so long since I've read it. But it's nice to sort of learn more about characters who come into the Shalley School series. And just kind of reacquaint myself with them. So yeah, I enjoyed it, but it was not, I'm not going woo-hoo-hoo, but I enjoyed it. The next one I picked up was when Dad and I were out doing some shopping, and grocery shopping, and in Tesco, and they had the new Heidi Swain, Walking on Sunshine. They also had the new Tess Gerritsen up there, which is called The Summer Guests, and Dad and I read the previous one of that. So he picked that up and I picked this one up. So we were both very, very happy. So this is the brand new Heidi Swain, brand new series set in a little town called Willowwell in Suffolk. And Tilly comes to Willowwell to scatter her father's ashes. Her brother Zach can't be there because he's abroad working. And she comes to Willowwell and she rents a cottage and just spends time in the village and then goes and scatters her dad's ashes. And it just so happens that where she scatters his ashes is where they used to camp when Tilly and Zach were children. And there's a big house on the opposite side of the river. And as she's scattering the ashes, there is music coming from the house, and it happens to be her father's favourite piece of music. And she's always wanted to see kind of what the house is like. And she decides that she's going to go and see if she can sort of meet the owner and just thank the person for playing that. It was serendipitous, but she wants to go and thank the person that was playing that music. Just made that times even more special. When she arrives at the house, she discovers that the woods are up for sale, and she asks if she can go and see the woods because she's been looking for somewhere like a woods for sale where she can set up a business. And this business is bringing people to the woods to learn skills and things like that, and just as a retreat for people who need to get away from the stresses of life. And she becomes friendly with Constance, who is the lady that owns the wood and the house. And various things happen, And she also happens to meet a young man called James, whom she gets on very well with, and they go out on some dates and things like that. And things are looking up, but then something happens and it gets all a wee bit blown to hee-haw. And it's what's going to happen next. I absolutely loved this. It was such a gorgeous read. Heidi Swain's characters are always so good. And I love the setting. I like that it's a brand new setting. I thoroughly enjoyed the characters, loved the plot line, loved the idea of the woods and what Tilly had planned for them and everything. Oh, it was just so nice. Constance was a great character. I liked the villagers as well. So thoroughly enjoyed this one. Looking forward to the next one in the series. And I know that Heidi Swain, she's got another book coming out in the autumn. And in that one, she's taking us back to Nightingale Square. So really looking forward to that. But thoroughly enjoyed this one and so glad I read it. I then read The Maids of La Rochelle by Eleanor M. Brent Dyer. This is book number 3 in the series. And we meet the 3 Temple sisters, Anne, Janie and Elizabeth. And their father has passed away. He has not left them a lot of money, and they have to decide what is going to happen. And they decide to move to Guernsey and rent a cottage there. And this is the story of them, their first year in Guernsey. The people they meet, the things that happen. I really enjoyed this one, I have to say. It was nice to because these 3 characters become 3 of the main mums in part of the Shalley School series. And I thoroughly enjoyed this one. It was really nice to get to know them. Nice to get to see them settle in Guernsey and the people they meet and what happens, and learn about some Guernsey customs and myth and legend. It was really good. There is a character in here, Miss Ozanne, and Miss Ozanne is just hilarious. She is so funny. I don't know that she's supposed to be funny. She's like a young girl who is like her brother is her guardian, and her brother is so much older than her. And of course she has these old worldly ways of saying things and the way she dresses, and it's just, when she meets the 3 sisters, and she's kind of just older than Janie. Like Elizabeth and Anne are older than Janie. Janie was is very much the younger sister. So when Miss Ozanne meets Janie, it is quite funny, and it is lovely to sort of see her growth development and the growth development of the sisters as well, and how they manage to make friends and make a living for themselves. It's really nice. I did really enjoy this one. I then read 7 Scamps by Eleanor M. Brent Dyer. This is book number 4. Yeah, I told you I'm reading the whole series. So in this one, the Athertons are coming to Guernsey for summer break, and we meet them. We meet the Temple. We meet the Temple sisters again, and we also meet, is it the Willoughbys? I think. There's the Lucys as well, but we've met them in previous, and I think we've got a Willoughby coming in. So again, we've now got all the sort of main sort of characters who have parts to play in the Shalley School, and it's basically their summer holidays and what happens to them. I mean, I have to say that the Scamps are. Who are they? Yeah, they're the Willoughbys, and I'm not joking. It is. They are scamps. They are serious scamps, but it is, there are reasons for it, and things just happen that are maybe not what they want. And whereas with Eleanor M. Brent Dyer's books, it all washes out in the end, as the saying goes. but yeah, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed sort of getting, again, more characters that I've known about in the past, but just reacquainting myself with them. And I loved the things that they did. It was just like a really fun summer holiday. Yeah, there were bits of it you're like, really, come on guys, but they put it this way, they got as good as they gave as good as they got, and the people that were on the, shall we say, the other side of the tricks, they gave as good as they got as well. So it was good, it was entertaining, just what I needed at the time. And I only have 3 left to go, but I'll probably start one of those later on today. But no, really glad I read it and thoroughly enjoyed it. I then received my new Sarah Morgan Brave New Summer. I'm very lucky to be on Sarah Morgan's UK review crew, so I got this one early. It comes out in 2 weeks' time. So we meet Evie, and Evie is she stepped into the general manager's position at the Alexandra Hotel in Cornwall. And the Alexandra is part of the Alexandra chain. Her father works as a concierge. Everybody that works there has known Evie since she was a child and since she was a baby. And she just basically she worked there during the summer. She, went to hotel management school, came back and was like assistant manager, is now having to step up because the manager is ill. And she is aware that the hotel is not doing as well as it could do. And she is trying to sort of implement a few things that could maybe turn the chain around. But there's a gentleman that is, she's called him the Weasel, and he's not very nice, and he keeps poking himself about in the hotel and things like that. And she's beginning to get a wee bit concerned, and she's written to head office, but nothing's happened. But eventually she hears from head office that they're sending somebody to help her. And that person is Abby. And Abby's mother owns the chain firm, the Alexandra. And Abby comes to Cornwall, and she's sort of getting a few flashbacks, and she's like, wait a minute, did I used to live here? And Abby and Evie become really good friends, but Evie doesn't know that Abby is basically the big boss's daughter because she's there undercover on her mother's instructions. Things come to a head, and various secrets are revealed, shall we say. And that's all I'm going to say about this book, because you need to kind of go in blind with this one. It was really good. I read this one in a day and a bit. It just pulled me in. I loved the characters. I loved the plot line. I really enjoyed learning about, what Evie wanted to do with the hotel. I enjoyed the new chef Luca that she had engaged. Oh my gosh, the food that he was making sounded absolutely divine. I liked Abby as a character. I understood why she was very reticent about lying about who she was. I loved the way that the town. I could understand why Evie gets a bit cheesed off because everybody knows her, everybody's known her since she was young, and basically, any gossip, not gossip, but they talk about her, they talk about everybody else in the town. It's like a very small community, and people will talk about other people, and she finds that a bit annoying. I totally get where she's coming from, but no, thoroughly enjoyed this one. If you're looking for a really good summer read, definitely pick this one up, and also pick up the Heidi Swain as well. They are both fantastic summer reads. But no, thoroughly enjoyed it. I got this one. I'm really pleased I did. Thank you, Sarah. I then read in my Kindle Summer at the French Bakery by Jo Thomas. This is her brand new one. I got this one as an e-arc. So we meet Juliet, and Juliet is celebrating 25 years of marriage with her husband Pete. It is also the year that she is given the news that she's in remission from cancer. And they've gone on holiday to France, and she discovers this in the town, or the wee village that they're living in. They're renting a house in, or staying in a B&B, sorry. She discovers this old watermill, and she thinks, oh, this would be really good as a salon de thé. So they go home, and she's still thinking about it, and they have a party to celebrate 25 years, but it's basically a party for Pete and his cronies, his golf buddies, and, you know, it's supposed to celebrate them, it doesn't really celebrate them. And Juliet goes outside, and one of the servers comes and says, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, I'm fine, just taking some fresh air. But she immediately goes and gets Pete. And Pete and Juliet at that point have a conversation, and they realise that basically their marriage is not there anymore, and they don't really want to be married to each other. They love each other as friends, but not as husband and wife. So she decides that she's going to go back to France, and she's going to buy the watermill, turn it into a salon de thé, and he supports this. Her family are off doing their own various things. And she gets there, and it's the story of what happens to her. It's the story of the people she meets, how she manages to... she needs to have a visa in order to stay and work within the village, and she needs to work out, you know, she tries to get this, the mayor puts a couple of stumbling blocks in her way. It's how she manages to negotiate that. It's the friends she makes, especially Madame B, and also Laurent, and it's how they help her and how she helps them, how she helps the village. I loved it. I think it took me a day and a half to read, because it just drew me in so much that I was like, I need to keep going. I loved the talk of food. I loved the talk of how things were done. It just was delightful. And again, another really good summer read that will suck you in. You'll want to know everything that happens. You'll fall in love with these characters because they're just, again, really well written and just a fun story. And I would definitely pick it up when it comes out. I cannot remember when it comes out. I know it's May. Is it June? I think it's the beginning of June that it comes out. So definitely grab it for yourselves. Summer at the French Bakery by Joe Thomas. So definitely go grab it. And the last book I read was A Kiss for Her Rival Rancher by Anna Grace. I read this one basically in a day. So we re-meet Miley and Cash, and there is a big pageant happening in the town, and Cash's brother and sister have entered him in this pageant. It's the most eligible, single, and Miley is also entered it. She is the local mayor. Cash helps his brother and sister and his sister-in-law run the holiday ranch and entertainment space. And when we meet the very beginning of the book, they're celebrating Eliana and Beau's wedding, and it just sounded so delightful, I have to say. And they then drop the bombshell on him that he's in this pageant. He's really not happy. But he goes anyway to the meeting, and he discovers that Miley, the mayor, is also entered. And he's like, right, I'm going to be I'm going to get this money, because his sister has come to him and said, can I borrow so much money from the family ranch funds? She won't tell him what it's for, so he's very worried about Tia. Mai Lee wants the money because she wants to use the money to start a club for the over 75s within the town. But there's a couple that are making life very difficult for her. So this is the story of how Cash and Mai Lee work together to try and win, for one of them to win the pageant. It's also the story of them realising, do they love each other, do they not love each other? We get to meet more people from the town. I loved Myron, the elderly librarian. He was gorgeous. He was such a lovely character. You meet some of the, maybe shall we say, two, not unsavoury, but just not very nice characters. They're just, they have overthought thoughts of how much they are influential. I really don't know what I'm trying to say, but you understand what I mean, I'm sure. Overinflated sense of self, there you go. So they're trying to make things problematic for Mai Lee. And it's how they, like Cash, Bo, Tia, Eliana, how they help Mai Lee in many ways. I adored this book. It comes out on the 26th of this month, and I am very grateful to Anna for the e-arc of this book because I absolutely adored it. As I say, it sucked me in. I read it in a day, and I'm really glad that I did because it was just such a lovely read, and I'm really looking forward now to Tia's story. So I don't know when that's coming out, but I'm really, really looking forward to it. And yeah, so go grab yourself that book as well. So that's all the books that I have read this week, or in the last 2 weeks. So it's been a very good reading, even though I've not been feeling well. I have to say, when I've not been feeling well, it's been the Lara Shells I've been reading because it just, brain power did not work out. At the moment, what am I reading? I have Jackie Lent's new book, The Betty Project. I have the manuscript of that to read. I'm one of her beta readers, so I'm really enjoying. I'm on the 6th chapter of that one, so I'm thoroughly enjoying that one. I'm still reading Still Meadow Sampler by Gladys Tabor. I'm only reading kind of a couple of pages a day on that one. I am listening on my tablet to Heart of Texas Volume 1 by Debbie Maycomer. I'm enjoying it. There is a character in there that is driving me nuts because he's a pain in the butt. I really don't like him. He's greasy, slimy, creepy. So no, I just really don't like him at all. So I will probably pick up another physical book because the Jackie Lent's I'm actually reading on my laptop. So I will definitely be picking up another physical book. It will be one of that little pile there. The other Bennett sister I'm keeping for June because I'm buddy reading that with Rebecca from Colourful Book Nester. So I'll pick up one of the other ones that's up there to read. And oh yes, I got my. Hold on, let me just see if I can get it down without. I finished my bookmark box. So that's what I've got in the front. I hope you can see it. And then on the side I've got that. I don't know that the stickers are sticking that well, but I didn't want to paint. And then that's what I've got on the other side as well. So you can see the stickers are not sticking, not adhering very well, but hopefully If they come off, I'll just have to paint it. But the front one says, reading isn't one size fits all. We choose the genres that fill us with joy. We all prefer our favourite mode of reading, no matter if it's paperback, hardback, ebook or audio. We experience the stories in our own unique ways. But we're all here because we love books. We read at different paces. Isn't that lovely? And it's called Reading Isn't One Size Fits All. So I thought that's very, very true. And I see I've got all my majority, I think this is virtually all my bookmarks. There are a couple that I'm missing that I need to find, but so yes, I'm really glad to have that up on my bookshelf now, which is great. So that's it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please come chat with me down in the comments. What have you been reading while I've been on my little break? I would love to know. Any of these books that I've mentioned today, do any of them sound like, oh yeah, I really want to read that? I would love to know. But on your way to chat with me in the comments, if you haven't already, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. It just helps my channel keep growing, and if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Again, just keeps my channel growing, and that's what I'm really enjoying. I love chatting to you guys in the comments and, you know, talking books and everything else. But that's it for this video, friends. Until my next one, stay safe, happy reading, bye.